Hello and welcome to a special Q&A video with me, Balthelion. So as you can see today, I am on webcam, hooray! Because I've actually got a new webcam, given that the other one that I bought, when did I get that? It's probably after I moved in from my house, I think, which was getting on about 2 years ago now. So I bought a webcam so I could do a bit of streaming and do a bit of this. And I probably used it about 6 times before it started really badly acting up and breaking. It would like crash halfway through a stream or randomly start disconnecting itself or freezing and stuff, which was a bit of a pain in the arse. But I've got a new one now, and this one's quite good, and this one's recommended as well. So we'll see how this goes, and depending on how well it goes, you might even start seeing me doing a webcam inside the Let's Play. We'll see how that goes. Or failing which, at least I might try dabbling my hands in the dark arts of streaming again. But anyway, get back on track. So this video is all about doing a Q&A session. So for those of you who didn't see it, I did say a couple of weeks ago in my channel update that you can ask me questions and I will get around to answering them. I usually pretty much answer all the comments I get in on all my videos as well, unless I don't see them or they're kind of some sort of trolly comment or something, in which case I might just choose to ignore it. Or you're a spam bot, in which case you're probably going to get deleted. But you wouldn't be watching this if you were a spam bot, so no. So I've got a number of questions that I'm going to answer. Some of these were in response to the video itself. Other ones are comments that are just generically in the comments history on any number of videos, because you guys obviously only see the videos that you put comments on or are watching. Whereas I obviously get to see all the incoming traffic and comments coming in on all these different videos. And you'd be surprised how many poor souls have decided to kick off with episode 1 of the Let's Play. Given that we're 265 episodes in, I want to say. I think that's right. Citation needed. No, 265 was the episode that would have gone out Wednesday if it rendered in time, but it didn't render till about 11 PM, so rather than rush it out at midnight when everyone's already in bed, that's the episode you're getting tomorrow, Friday, which is the second part of Lum, which is not quite as lore heavy as the last one, so for those of you hoping for a massive lore dump like the last one, it's not going to be that. But anyway, I digress. Let's get to some questions then. So, Hannah L says, what is your favourite zone between level 20 and level 50 so far? In brackets, pre-Moria, post-Lonelands. Just to make sure I didn't miss any of them out, I did get a map prepared so I can refer to this without having to think and miss a region. So it's going to rule out all of the bottom right hand side of the map. So Nankaranir, Dunland, Enedwaith are all part of post Moria stuff. Everything else is pre Moria. So what is my favourite out of those? I don't know. The Shire is nice as an area, but it's terrible for questing. And if you're trying to do the Shire quested final tier to get that +2 innocence, you just want to commit suicide by the end. It's so painful. Do any other deed apart from that one, honestly, it's that bad. Breland, I love it. Pretty much all of my characters will go there to do the start of the game, basically, even if they're not a man or a hobbit. Well, a hobbit would go back to the Shire anyway after the prologue. But even if they're elf, dwarf, hobbit, I will send them over to Breland to do the questing up until that point, because I'm not a massive fan of Ered-Luin. I have only done it once, to be fair. That's not been done on the Let's Play as well. However, with the introduction of the High Elf, maybe I'll sneak it in there, like have a little sneak back all the way to Ered-Luin and the low levels and quickly bash out that region. Because I've done pretty much all the other regions on this map, apart from obviously those last 3 down the bottom, which are post-Moria stuff on the road to the next expansion, but coming soon. Very soon, actually, in terms of recording. It'll be a while before you guys actually see those episodes. So I might do Ered-Luin when the High Elf comes out. We'll see how that goes. Forakel I really like. I didn't like it the first time. My first character which is my main captain called Balthelion. I wasn't a massive fan of Forakel then. I remember back in the early days I was sort of requesting, I was about Evendim kind of level, so in that kind of like 30 to 40 bracket, and I would constantly sneak into Forakel to do some mining because my mining was mining skills were vastly higher than my level range at the time, probably because I was leveling really slowly, like paying attention to all the quest text and stuff like that. But Foraker has grown on me. It is a pain to get around because it is, if you don't have the swift travels and stuff, it's a nightmare. It's a bit easier to get there with stable masters and that now anyway, because before you had to go in via Ostforod into the first area and then around the various bits and pieces until you actually got the reputation at Surakila that you could travel from Bree, but now it's a lot easier to get there. North Downs I really like. Not sure how I feel about it since it's kind of been revamped a little bit. It's kind of a little bit weird. It's not been a major revamp in that region, but I do like North Downs. Not really a big fan of the Troll Shores. That's a bit of a pain in the backside region. I mean, they've made it a little bit better since they revamped it, because before it's billed as like a level 30 to 40 region, but there's not really enough quests in there to actually do stuff. But there's loads of repeatables and stuff now, so you can kind of wing it a bit. So it's a little bit better there. Never been a fan of the Lone Lands. It's always been a bit dull and boring to me. Etamos is the PvP region. Misty Mountains was always quite nice. Quest flow is kind of a bit broken up. They kind of like tied it up a bit more now. First time in Goblin Town was quite fun, because it is a maze. Unless you have the map up from the wiki or something, it's a bit of a pain getting around there. Angmar was pretty interesting, pretty dangerous, like the first time I went there. Evendim is very nice, especially since they did the revamp way back in update 1, I think it is. I think that was when they first started doing the naming conventions for the updates. And Evendim is just a perfect like quest flow from like start to finish. So if you just go in there at level 30, or even a bit lower maybe if you're feeling ambitious, 28ish, you can power through that very easy. It's lovely quest flow. So if I had to pick one, in terms of being a nice region and the quest flow and that, I'd have to pick Evendim, I guess. But to be honest, I like all of the whole 0 to 50 leveling experience. I definitely enjoy rolling a new character and doing the stuff up to and including the end of Moria. The end of Moria was the level cap when I started, which was just after Moria was released. So that kind of has like a special meaning to me. So I tend to enjoy like running through the lower levels and just leveling up that a lot more than leveling in some of the later regions. Not to say that the later regions are bad or anything. Some of them are less good, shall we say. Some of them are obviously intended to just be like a placeholder grind area until you get to the next expansion and stuff, so it's kind of got that working against it really. But certainly some of the later story stuff in Gondor is very nice, so I can't really fault it on that. But so yeah, to answer the question, long-winded way of doing it, I would say Evendim out of that. So next question. Captain Gamer says, I think you should explain your ideas on what MMORPGs we should play. Short answer, I play loads of MMOs. Not as much as I probably should, because obviously MMOs do take up quite a bit of time, so sometimes I'm playing ones more than others, or not playing some at all, even if I'm possibly paying for it and stuff. But obviously LOTR is there. That was my first MMO, way back 2009, early parts of that year, because I think Moria came out late 2008, so that sounds about right. I don't know the order I started playing the rest, but I also played Guild Wars 2, which is fantastic as playing as like a secondary MMO, because you pay for the game, you don't pay a sub. You can level at your own expense and whatever. And they've also changed the model as well, so you don't have to pay for the base game now. You only have to pay for like the expansion and everything that comes once you're at level cap. So it's very easy to dip your toes in that. Give that one a go. EVE Online, which is complicated, probably deserves its nickname of spreadsheets in space. But if you like spacey kind of stuff, or just like a sandbox MMO where you can literally do anything you like, that could be for you. But at the same time, if you're the kind of person who just wants to go and doing quests, it's not really your kind of thing. There is NPC offered quests and stuff, but it's more about the sandbox experience. The stories are very much driven by the players. I mean, you might hear in the news of these like massive battles where people lose $500,000 worth of spaceships and stuff, or someone who's planning like a raid on someone's vault that takes 6 months and stuff. And the stories that come out of EVE are brilliant. I think what I might do as well, I might do separate videos for explaining all these, like the pros and cons of all these different MMOs and stuff. That might be an interesting thing to do. So that's free. Star Trek Online, bit of a love-hate one with that one. I do kind of enjoy the space combat. I absolutely hate the ground combat, and it can go die. It is a bit cheesy. There's no denying that. It is also free to play, and it's fairly reasonable in terms of what you get for playing for free. You're not really gimped as such. However, if you do decide to buy something on their store, they will milk you for all the cash you have in your wallet. The prices on there can be pretty extreme. So do bear that in mind. I haven't played that for a good while yet, so I need to probably go back and explore the Delta Quadrant and all the content they've added on that one. What's that? That's 4. I haven't played World of Warcraft before someone asks. It's not really interested me, and as much as I've never been one to be interested in the graphics of a video game, and I will literally go back and play like 90s video games that have special meaning to me. But at the same time, like World of Warcraft's graphics, it's a bit cartoonish and stuff. It doesn't sort of appeal to me. Not necessarily like it's old and crappy, but the whole cartoonish style, for an MMO anyway, just doesn't really suit me. That said, I do end up playing stuff like Hearthstone and stuff, so I do have some toes dipped in the water of the Warcraft universe. What other MMOs? There's probably a couple of others that I'm forgetting anyway. I haven't tried Elder Scrolls Online. Oh yeah, Star Wars: The Old Republic, which again, it's a bit of a weird one. I mean, everyone really wanted a Knights of the Old Republic free, which we didn't get. We got this instead, which was a bit disappointing. It's fully voice acted. Personal stories for each playable class. They're all pretty interesting. I haven't played all of them, but there's kind of like 4 base classes for the light side / Republic, and 4 for the dark side / Sith Empire, which then break into different kind of specifications afterwards. So I think it's like level 10 or something. You can choose from like 2 different like specialization classes, and that is a permanent choice. And then after that, you then have 3 trait trees that you can specialize to be, damage, tank, damage over time, support, all kinds of weird and wonderful stuff. Combat's a bit more faster paced than that. You can play on PvP servers, so if you are playing, say, a Republic character or a Jedi, you can go out and get ganked by the Sith or stuff, which can be interesting if you're into that. Obviously, there's going to be the inevitable trolls that might have like a high level character and like you're level 20 or whatever, and they'll just come and gank you, and yeah, that sucks. But I remember the first time that I actually had PvP combat, because I did start on a PvP server originally, back when it was launched. I think it was on Alderaan. So like there's 2 Sith guys like go past on their speeder, and I'm like, oh, there's a Sith Lord here. I'm a Jedi Knight. They're probably going to kill me. So the first one just like takes one look at me, drives past on his speeder, doesn't give a damn. Second one sort of comes past, and it's like, yeah, I think I can take this guy. So he jumps off. I'm not much of a PvPer at all. So I was expecting, right, I'm going to die now and go to the respawn point, but I somehow managed to beat him. So he sucks, quite frankly, because I'm crap. But yeah, I mean, there might be a few other MMOs. One thing I will say about Guild Wars is PvP. I'm not much of a PvP player, but I do enjoy the Guild Wars one, because one, unlike other ones, it's not laggy, and it's actually enjoyable. It's a bit more variety in it. It's not just whoever's got the biggest army and bum rushes the other guys wins, which is kind of like what LOTR's one tends to be. So moving on then, next one, it's not a question. Nasty Andrew says, yes, The Walking Dead, thank you so much, Bao. Thank me when it comes out. As I said, I want to try and finish off the rest of the Minecraft story mode Telltale game, because I did the first half, which ties it up in a bow story-wise quite nicely, and then there's another 4 episodes after that. And they've just announced they're doing season 2, so I need to get off my arse and actually finish that. And probably finish off the Batman one as well, since I did do like the first episode that and never got around to it. Never got around to finishing that because I got bogged down with other stuff. And then The Walking Dead. But there's loads of other episodic games as well. I probably should get around to it at some point. Snidgut says, maybe start the Epic series. So this is in reference to the fact I said I might do a separate series which is just doing the Epic storyline. So from the very start of the game all the way through down to the end of the game. Well, not the end of the game. Current end game content. So basically that would catch up to the main Let's Play series very quick. Well, I say very quickly. Volume 1 takes a bloody long time if you're doing the whole thing, but it will be less episodes overall to get to that point for those who are interested in the main storyline, especially for those of you who don't play but you might be interested in just watching it. I don't necessarily have to wait for the LOTR expansion because it will be so many episodes before I get to Mordor anyway, and Mordor would have been probably out at least a year by that point. But I have just recently rolled a new Hobbit. I've rolled a new Hobbit Lass Hunter because I haven't had a Hobbit Hunter yet, so I was like, that combination needs to happen because it's so cute. So maybe that character will be used to go through the storyline. We'll see. But that could be interesting. So what other comments we got? Phil Boswell says, some impressive lore to be dropping while you're murdering bugs, and then some other stuff. So that was in response to the fact that, yeah, I just went into like lore overdrive going on about the 2 trees of Valinor in the most recent episode that's aired. I'm not the most lore aware person. I do know a fair bit of lore. I don't necessarily always remember it correctly. Trees case in point, because I couldn't work out which one was which, even though by the end of my ramble I did work out that it had to be this way round because of reasons. But yeah, I do like to chuck in the bits of lore here and there when appropriate, but some regions are easier to drop in lore when I'm doing the Let's Play. When you meet certain characters who might have some kind of reference or certain places that were mentioned somewhere, it's easier to kind of work that into a bit of narration. But some regions either have very little to no mention, or the places you're going to in that region don't really feature in the book, so it's hard to talk about lore sometimes, but I'd like to sneak it in when I do. Robert Sheck says, your voice is so relaxing, you have the perfect Lord of the Rings dreamy mysterious voice. Subscribed. Thank you. Glad you enjoy it. And he's also one of those poor souls who has decided he's going to start the whole series of the Let's Plays. I don't know how far you've got yet, but you did say pray for me, so I pray for you. You're not the only one to try it. Someone binged it really quick. I'm not sure who it was. I'll probably find your name in a moment. But yeah, especially the early stuff as well. Because like, if I listen to like some of my earlier stuff, it irritates me because like I had a really crappy mic when I started. This one's a bit better, but the problem is it does pick up everything. So any kind of like clicks or stuff, and there's like constant like little bit of background wearing, which I could probably do a bit better to filter out from the fans on the computer and stuff. But But given that every microphone I've had before used to be really quiet, and you'd have to like turn up the sensitivity just to make it hit, make yourself heard on that. This one is the first one that doesn't do that, so I can't complain. Aidan Kelly says, "Wow, how did you get all those items at the start of the game?" So he's in reference to episode 1, episode 2. When I started, Tristana, I think it was the first character, and I had loads of crap in my bags at the start of the game, which if I roll a new character now, which I did recently, I've basically filled up pretty much every slot in my bags. And the answer to that is some of those are pre-order bonuses from previous expansions. So you get like various armor sets, bits and pieces, XP boosters and stuff that you can equip in slots. So some is that, and others are just rewards for playing the game X number of years, because if you guys have been around during at least one of the anniversary events, if you've been playing for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, etc., since the game was released mid-April, I think it's April 21st was the anniversary date. So for every year you've been playing on the anniversary date, and it has to be a full year, which kind of shoots me in the foot because I started playing just after the anniversary, so I have 1 year less than I probably deserve. But you get loads of stuff from there, so you can get some sturdy keys as well, which is quite nice, although you have to get your character to level 15 to open your chests. As well as like some nice cosmetic stuff that you can equip for your character and also for your steeds as well. A couple of unique mounts, fireworks and stuff. Basically, the further you get, the more years you've been playing the game, the more rewards you get, the more interesting stuff. Captain Gamer again says you should make a new series when you get to 105. Start on Gladden. I have to get to 105, and by the time I get to 105, the level cap would probably be 150 or something ridiculous. Ben Fuller says, "Do we have a release date for Mordor? This might finally be enough to make me play again." High Elves sound intriguing. At the time of writing, no, we still don't know a date. There should be hopefully something to be testing on Bull Roar at some point in June. That's what they said back at the anniversary live stream, so hopefully that's still on track, and if it is, I will try and do some beta videos, perhaps show off the new character creation stuff for the new characters, because I think that should be in some of the test cycles in June, later in June. That said, we're almost halfway through June at the minute. We are halfway through June, I think. The days elude me. What is it today? 15th of June, so yeah, we are halfway through June. But it'd be interesting to see, because they normally do like the pre-orders kind of like June, July-ish. And it's probably expected to release, my guess would be like the end of September or like early October. So it's kind of stretching the definition of late summer 2017, but that's probably when it's going to be, with the last update coming probably early December, probably getting pretty close to Christmas, depending on how pushed they are for development. KPS Sting says, "I like your commentary, but sometimes you get really quiet." I know. It's not deliberate. Sometimes I just run out of steam and I run out of stuff to say, especially since I've been blasting out Mirkwood on my own. So way back when I started this, I used to do all the stuff myself. So I probably was able to ramble on a bit easier back then, but I've got used to having other people around, which can be quite nice to have other people in the Let's Play as well, because then you can have a bit of discussion, throw some stuff back and forth between the two of you, start a bit of discussion. Hal's quite good with the lore as well, so if I can bounce some discussion off him and he can start rambling about the lore, and it gives me a bit of time to stop talking and wearing my throat out, especially if I've been doing like Gollum and Mazog voices, which absolutely destroyed my throat in Mirkwood. But as I mentioned before, to one of the other questions as well, if it's a case of I've got some talking points, which I always try to have something to talk about going into the episode, whether it's talking about a new class, talking about the new trait line I'm trying out, something to do the lore-wise, something topical like the release of the Mordor expansion, the 2 Trees of Valinor, all that kind of stuff. I'll try and have something up my sleeves so that if things are getting a bit too quiet, I have something to talk about. And other times as well, I suppose, like, I can just kind of like run out of steam and just be a bit exhausted and stuff, so it does make me a bit prone to not talking as much, but I do try to, but it's a fair criticism. I totally agree with you on that. What else we got? Captain Gamer once again, try and find a player named Langland and invite me to your kin, please. I did try when you first posted that. I will have to try again, or try and get someone to keep an eye out for you. I haven't forgotten. Let's scroll down a bit more. Bruce Payne says, looking forward to the ongoing crusade. I find your videos very helpful, having been stuck in Moria for so long. Now I've been able to play far better, both DPS and ranged. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I'm glad you find them useful. I have to get around to playing other classes as well. How many classes have I done now? We've done Warden, we've done Burglar twice. We've done Bjorning, we've done Hunter, we've done Captain, done Runekeeper, done Captain. So I think it's just Guardian, Lawmaster, and Champion are the only thing I haven't played yet. So we're getting there. So the plan for those 3 is the Guardian's going to be for the next region, which is going to be Enedwaith. And the plan, hopefully, for that is that it's going to be a 2-man duo with me and Benji. I think he's using his Lawmaster for that one. So I'll be doing the Guardian of that. The Guardian's the one class in LOTR that I've never kind of liked, for lack of a better word. It's the one class I couldn't get into. But I haven't played it since they did the Helm's Deep trait revamps, and supposedly that's made things a lot nicer in terms of soloing and doing decent DPS and stuff. So I might actually enjoy it. We'll see. Failing which, I've got someone else who can DPS for me while I just tank and spank. So that'll be good at least. The other 2 classes, the Champion is going to come in for Dunland, is the plan. He will smush his way through there. Or it might, it might even be the B team champion, Tifrid, if she gets up high enough. We'll see. And then that leaves the Lawmaster, who would then take on the next region, which would be Great River. And at that point, I would have done all 10 classes, so I'm free to do whatever I like for the rest of the game, basically. But I'm probably going to still alternate between various classes in various regions and stuff, rather than stick it on one class, just to keep it fresh, keep it changing. Captain Gamer again, you like commenting on my videos, I know. I thought they should add some new lore to the Lord of the Rings universe by adding a westward expansion. So they only have the rights to use the Lord of the Rings stuff, the literal like Lord of the Rings trilogy stuff, and the appendices and a few other minor bits and pieces and stuff. They don't have the rights to do the Hobbit in terms of storyline, or like the Silmarillion, any of the really old stuff set in Balthelion and stuff. However, they can probably still get away with referencing stuff from like the First Age and the War against Morgoth and all that kind of stuff in passing, just because it's mentioned in the appendices and stuff, but they just can't tell those stories because they don't have the rights to it. And anything that they do has to be checked by Middle-earth Enterprises and the rights keepers to make sure that what they're doing is not too extreme or too law-breaking and stuff. So even the stuff like putting the High Elves into the game that they're doing at the minute, they have to pass judgment basically, to make sure it's nothing too crazy. But I would love to see some kind of flashback for the starter area. So maybe and by starter instance maybe rather than starter area. So the bit that you can skip in character creation. So like for men, you're escaping the prison. For the elves, you're at that elvish place that I can't quite remember the name of in Ered Luin, up in the mountains, that gets destroyed. And then once you're in the starter area, it is destroyed. It's, I don't know what the time frame is, hundreds of years later, a couple of dozen years later, I don't know. But I would love a flashback to maybe go like somewhere in Balthelion in like the Second Age or something. That'd be pretty cool. Whether they can get away with that, I don't know. I mean, it stands to reason they might even sneak. I don't see how they would, but they could like sneak in the Grey Heavens as like a little mini area and just have that as the starter area for High Elves. But I think that would be a bit of a cheap get out. I think they want to do something special with the Grey Havens, so we might not see that until the ring's been destroyed. Maybe like post LOTR Expansion we'll see that. So moving on, I get this question a lot. What server do you play on? ENRP Laurelin, the English language European server for role-playing. Which, for those that ask, no, you don't have to roleplay just because you're on that server. It just means that the roleplay is encouraged. You will see people doing roleplay. They will pretend to be bands doing concerts in Bree. They will be just wandering around talking to one another as if they were characters in game, and it's quite nice just to like be around and just see this happening as you're walking past and stuff. You don't have to participate as long as you don't interfere with them, like troll them and grief them and get in their way. That's not really a problem. And also you kind of have to be a bit more respectful of the rules in terms of like you can't have the hunter called Pew Pew or something like that. You know, you need to have names which look like a name and not stupid stuff. Otherwise you're probably going to find yourself getting renamed, especially on those servers. Oh, there we go. Raudus says, I'm finally all caught up from episode 1 to 251 marathon sessions. I look forward to more. Thanks for the series. Well played. I don't know how many people have watched the entire series. Maybe some people have just like found my videos and carried on watching from that point onwards. But you're one of the few people that's did it, so thumbs up. Pito111222 says Let's Play should be at least 30 minutes long. So I tend to make my videos about 20 minutes in length. In the earlier days I was kind of aiming for like the 20-25 minute bracket, but from personal experience, looking at the analytics and stuff like behind the scenes, seeing watch times and stuff, people tend to lose interest once you start going above 20 minutes and stuff. You know, if I have like an hour long video, people are like, nah, I don't have the time to watch that, or can't be asked for that now, or can't be asked for watching that ever, or you know. So bite-sized chunks tend to be a bit more favourable, especially for people that tend to be watching on mobile devices as well, which tends to make up quite a good chunk of views. So people may be watching on their tablets or their smartphones and stuff, and it does seem to be agreed pretty much across the board. Like a lot of other channels will tend to keep stuff in that kind of like 20, not really more than 25 minute brackets unless they're doing kind of something special. So it is kind of deliberate. Sometimes my videos will be a bit less than 20 minutes, so you might see some dipping down as low as 15 minutes. That's not really intentional. It's just kind of when I sit down to do some recording with the LOTR Let's Play series, at least I tend to sit down and do like a one big session, and you can probably work out what the sessions are, because certainly in the case of Mirkwood anyway, it's each distinct region was recorded as a session. But you can probably work it out, because at the start of a session I always say like welcome, it's Balthelion and all that kind of stuff, whereas the other ones are just kind of cut off at a certain point in time where it's a good point to cut the episode. But sometimes there's not enough video to make everything like 20 episodes. It's a case of then I have to break down each episode, so maybe I have 4 episodes where they're 25 minutes, or I can have 4 episodes where they're 20 minutes, or 3 episodes where they're like 27 minutes, and it's kind of shimmying it around and trying to work out what's best, what's like the closest to the time brackets that I'm after. And other times it can just be impossible to break a video because I might be giving off a massive monologue about the lore, so a video has to like carry on for another 5 minutes because I don't stop for a breath, or it makes no sense to like break that monologue in half, so you kind of only get half the story until the next time, which could be like a couple of days in the future. So I try and avoid that, but yeah, I generally aim for like the 20 to 25 minutes because I think that's a decent chunk of time without being too much for people to watch. The Grey says, I just watched this episode and the previous 2 because I'm doing these quests with my hunter and I'm kind of jealous. The Lore Master, which in this case would be Benji because it's in reference to the Moria videos, the Lore Master with his Bog Lurker is having so much fun like no one else's business. Yes, because we just put everything in a massive group in the centre. He does his lightning storm and everything just explodes and incinerates, which is pretty fun. Mouth of Sauron says, is there any reason why we can't fight mounted? You can fight mounted, but you have to get a war steed in Rohan, which is a special type of steed. It's a bit divisive on the gameplay. It's generally not favourable. I don't mind it. It could have been done better. There's no denying that. But it just tends to be a bit laggy, and sometimes you can bounce around and stuff, and yeah, it's not quite as optimised as it should be. And they haven't really like gone back to kind of tidy it up because they've been busy with other stuff, so it's a bit of a pain. Alaskan 420 says, hey Balthelion, love your videos. I was just wondering if there's a reason you don't turn on always loot all in the UI section of the options panel. That's because like, a lot of times in the pending loot I can get loads of crap, and if you're doing something like, especially like in like the older areas pre-Moria, let's say you go to Khandum or something in Angmar, you'll get so much crap. Literally, it's your pending loot will fill up in about 30 seconds straight. So I tend to only just like pick out the things that are of value to me. So like crafting items, gems, wood, ore nodes, stuff that ends up in there. Items not so much, because unless it's good for cosmetics, I don't really want that in my bags, because at some point when my bags are full I'm just going to drag that out of my bag and throw it in the bin. Not really going to sell it for much cash, so I don't really care about it for that. But yeah, you see me quite a lot in my videos. I will open up my bags and just empty stuff, because my bags are always bloody full with so much stuff, especially since I keep the task items for handing in tasks as well. Phil Boswell says, what's your intended schedule for doing more plugin videos? I hope to do more soonish, and other LOTR videos. If there's anyone that has any plugins that they know about that is really good and thinks that I should do a video about to tell other people, let me know, because my pool of plugins that I'm knowledgeable about is very limited. So beyond that, I'm just doing trial and error of trying out some plugins and seeing if it's worth doing a video about. But there's a couple that have been recommended to me. I need to do a secrets video. I might see if I can sneak that in this weekend if I find the time. I know what I'm going to do for the next secret video, even if it's a bit of a cheat because it's not as secret as some things. But I might pair that up with something else as well, just to pad it out, because I've seen something that's just like blown my mind, which is pretty crazy. But some other ideas as well for things that I might do for LOTR videos. So I did have an idea. I find the stuff on my phone, but just to do like random discussion videos on like random LOTR discussion topics and questions. So like for example, like Denethor, and did he travel abroad, or like Denethor and the Palantir. Is the Palantir the reason why he's kind of like a bit xenophobic and stuff? Could be interesting little discussion videos like that, just like back it up with book quotes and stuff, but with like random one-offs. and various bits and pieces that could be interesting. But there's loads of little like random questions that I've seen on like on these like discussion threads, so it could be interesting to answer some of these. Like is there a difference between Narsil and Anduril, or why did Gandalf not return to help Frodo and Sam? What does Shagrat mean by hola? I don't know, maybe he's just greeting everyone in Spanish. And various bits and pieces. So, yeah, could be interesting stuff. So, I don't know how long I've been rambling on for. Quite a bit. It might be a while. I don't know. Let's answer a few more of them. Thoroughly enjoyed the Moria series. This is Steve S. Though I've managed to level 2 characters to cap in the time it's taken. Yeah, Moria took a while. I kind of got slowed down by a lot of stuff that was going on in real life last year. Events that kind of maybe like have to take a bit of break from the game, and also the fact of having to do the whole of Moria as a 4-man let's play, and then you're trying to find some time where all 3 of the other guys have gaps in their schedules. So all 4 people are available, including myself, and all 4 people are in the mood to actually record some LOTR, and it's pretty bloody hard to synchronise everyone's schedules like that. So I don't think I'm going to be doing any massive groups like that for certainly for open landscape anyway. When it comes to instance content, then yeah, it's easier to get a few of the guys together and just do like a one-off instance video. But otherwise, the problem meant that I had to wait for everyone, and then that delays it, and there could be a couple of weeks with no LOTR videos. So I was just filling that up with like other games and stuff as well. So John Bastion says, nice teaser at the end there. So that's from the last Moria video, because I snuck in one of the Mirkwood launch trailers. So yeah, there are some interesting LOTR trailer videos. And yeah, they're not going to be like massively great modern game trailers or anything like that. But they're pretty cool. You can probably check those out if you just type in the names of expansions and then trailer. Should I play LOTR, Elder Scrolls Online, or Warcraft? I've only played one of them. This is the Rook asking the question. So I'm biased. I'm going to say LOTR, because the other 2 I haven't tried, which is not necessarily to say that they're bad. I just can't pass judgment on them. Geranium's posted on one of my threads. Geranium, sexiest hunter alive, looks at the floor and whistles innocently. You're a bit biased, not bigging yourself up there. Landon Marek says, can't wait to buy the quad pack and play through Moria. Moria's fun. I love Moria. It's one of my favourite regions in the game. Bit different to how it used to be. Some areas better, some areas worse off. But yeah, I think Moria and Rohan are probably my favourite areas in the game. Both for like the feel of it, and the fact that they are pretty cool areas in the lore as well. Skatey Mate says, what is the cloak that Grimhound is wearing, and where can I get it? So this is in reference to episode 241. So this is how on his Guardian. It's one of the Dragok cloaks, so you have to do the Dragok raid. You have to get the Dragok scales, take them. I think you have to get the tailor recipes from Feardred's Riders in the southeast area of Dunland, that rep faction, and then you can barter for a tailor recipe for one of 4 types of cloaks. I think they all have distinct cosmetics as well. But like one's the Might cloak, one's the Agility cloak, one's the Will cloak, and then one's like a Morale or Vitality cloak. But it's one of those 4. Wormscale Cloaks. Look it up on the wiki. The Grey says, I can't use my house in Moria. If not, where do you get this mount that you're using? So goats, you can get them. I think you get one from early on. Is it at the Dolphin View? You can get like a really crappy one that's got low morale and really slow bonus movement speed. You can get decent ones from being kindred in Moria. Bear in mind, if you've run at least one character through Moria before, you can hoard up all those reputation items that you get. Then send them to your other character, and I think they can consume those rep items anytime after they're 45. 40 or 45, I think it is 45. So at 45 you can make them kindred before they've been set foot in Moria, at which point you can just go straight to the reputation vendor and buy a goat. But besides that, you've got the reputation goat for being kindred with 4 in tall. There's several goats which are not reputation awards, just rewards for completing the deeds for doing every quest in every instance, with both the Moria instance cluster and the Lothlorien instance cluster. There's a couple of other goats that have probably been from like festivals and stuff. There's a really cool one with like these like massive like antlers, like horns which go like crazy. But I can't think where that one's from or what it's called. But if you go on the wiki, I'm sure you can find out a list of all goats and horses. Well, there was this website, I think, is it LOTR Steed? That tends to have pictures of all the horses if that place is still going. But yeah, I think that's probably enough questions. I've probably been rambling on for the better part of like 30-40 minutes. I wasn't really timing how long I've been going on for. So I will leave you guys with one last thing as a parting thing, which is going to be a really old video, and I will warn you, this is so old it's not recorded on a widescreen monitor. So this is one of my earliest videos from way back when. There we go. Ta-da-da. So yeah, it's not in HD. So this is at the top of the Falls of Rauros. So if you know your stuff, that's near the Argonath in Rohan. So at the top of like this biggest waterfall in the game. And I've got one of my kiddies. I can't really make out who it is because the video quality is not great. But they are holding 3 Uruk-hai at the very top of the mountain there, and I'm on a heavy war steed who has got is it trample, where you can run things over and do knockbacks. So I decided, okay, you can knock back mobs. Let's have some fun with this, and this is what happened. Boom! And if you watch down the bottom right, you should see the guy whiz past the tree. There he goes. He's at the top left. And there he goes, the bottom right. Let's do that once more time. So yeah, you see him. It lags because I'm not dying up here. He's up here, and then down the bottom you just see him just poking his nose just past there on the way down. So I landed on some weird little ledge. And he goes all the way down to the bottom. And yeah, that's fun. So then I started like trying to work out, okay, if I can do that there, where else can I do stuff? So there's like a big dragon on top of a cliff in Rohan as well, as part of one of the quest lines in East Rohan. So I was like, right, let's get the mount up there and kick the massive dragon off the mountain. But it doesn't work because mounts aren't allowed up there, so that sucks. But anyway, I hope you guys have found that fun. And any comments that do get posted to all my videos, as I say, I do try to answer them as quickly as possible. But yeah, sometimes I might be busy, or I might be like away for a prolonged period of time, so I don't see everything. But I will try and answer questions, and if you've got more questions as well that might be about the channel, me, plans for the future, etc., just stick them on a video somewhere. I'll get around to answering them personally at some point. And if you guys have enjoyed this little Q&A session, let me know. Give me a like in the video, and say you like it in the comments if you like as well. And then I might sit down at some point a couple of months in the future and do like another kind of like thing, just kind of reading through comments and stuff, and giving you guys shout outs, because this channel it's all thanks to you guys. It wouldn't be doing as well as it is if it wasn't for you guys watching it and enjoying my content. So thank you very much for that and all the views. But that's it for now. So until next time, see you guys later.